how to make him miss you badly. If you'd like to have a man crave and desire you, to have him constantly thinking about you, wanting to reconnect, wanting to reconcile, potentially wanting to come closer to you, without a man continuing to forget about you, not think about you, not feel about you, and let you drift away out of his life, then listen up to this training today. I'm Brody Boyd with Magnetize Your Man, and for over 20 years combined with my wife Antia, we've been helping thousands of successful women all over the world to get a loving, long-term, and committed relationship fast. So let's go ahead and dive into these powerful principles that I have for you today. So if you want to get a man to miss you badly, one of the most powerful things you can do is trust a man, to actually trust him and to demonstrate trust to him. Because here's the thing, the masculine and a man's masculine core, his deepest desires are to be respected and to be trusted. The feminine's deepest desires, the feminine core, is to be adored and cherished. So if you could start leading with respecting him and trusting him, just like in a dance, when you're trusting a man to lead the dance, that he will follow through, that's going to be one of the most powerful things you can do to make a man long to be with you again, to think about you, and to want to re-engage, because he feels trusted, which is another form of respect and admiration and appreciation as well. So I'm going to give you some secrets in this video how you can actually demonstrate to a man that you trust him, and so he can feel that he is wanting to lead you more, wanting to lead the relationship forward, wanting to re-engage, wanting to initiate and potentially chase you. You can inspire that feeling and encourage it within him through your magnetic feminine energy. So let's start with the first tip I have for you today, the first secret, which is ask for his opinion. So one easy thing you could do is simply ask a man something like, "Could I ask you what you think about this?" And this shows that you value his thoughts and trust his judgments, and you wait for his response. So simply just ask for advice, ask for help with something you're dealing with. This is a sign that you trust him. You trust him to solve the problem for you. You say, "Hey, I need help, and I know you're capable, or you're potentially capable of helping me with something because you're a competent man. I trust you, I respect you, and so I trust your judgment. I'm going to ask you for help. I'm going to ask you for your advice." It's a positive signal you can send to a man that you do trust him, which can build that polarity, because the law of polarity states that opposites attract, opposite energies attract. So when you become more feminine, trusting, respectful, and vulnerable, you'll inspire a man to be more loving and adoring of you and to come closer and chase you. So this is a powerful thing. You can shift a relationship dynamic oftentimes by simply doing that, asking for help or asking for his opinion or advice on something. The next powerful secret is to let him lead. And whether it's choosing a restaurant or planning a date, allow him to take charge. Your willingness to follow his lead naturally demonstrates trust. Again, just like that dance analogy, when you're trusting a man in the salsa dance or the tango dance or the West Coast swing dance to actually lead you, to actually take you on a journey, and to trust his pacing, to trust his leadership, his decision-making, his abilities to be a good lead, to make those decisions, to plan things, to create an experience for you. So trust him. And the easy way to trust a man is simply to follow his lead. So when he makes a decision, when he offers something for you both, like, give it a try. Of course, if you have big hesitations about something, that he chose a restaurant that you really don't like, or he's taking you on a trip that seems a little precarious, or he's driving too fast, you can share when you are feeling that something is off, or you can feel some emotion like fear, anxiety, sadness, and you can share that vulnerably and let him know so that he can adjust his leadership and make a different choice, perhaps, to take you to a different place. But you're not telling him what to do. You're not taking the lead yourself and say, "Hey, here, let me lead you. I'll handle it. You don't got this. You don't know what you're doing. You're a pretty incompetent leader. You're kind of a stupid man, and you're very bad at what you do. So I'm going to take the lead. I'm going to lead you around." And that's going to kill the polarity, of course. That's going to make him feel disrespected, not trusted, and he's not going to want to lead anymore. He's not going to want to come closer, and he's not going to feel any of those feelings of love and devotion and attraction, because the polarity has been destroyed. Now you're in the masculine, and he's going to have to either be in his feminine and submit and follow your leadership, or he's going to be out more likely. Pull away, close up, etc. So that's why you want to shift that and actually show him the different ways when it's authentic for you and if you can trust, to show him. Now, one example I like to recommend is if you're in a car with a man, actually close your eyes and imagine just being and letting him drive, letting him take the leadership and trusting. That's what it feels like when you're fully trusting. Sometimes it's scary, but that's the leap, to show him and to feel for yourself what it feels like when you're allowing a man to take care of things, when you're allowing him to take care of you, to make those decisions and trusting that he's got it. And again, your man may not have it, but you can always speak up, and we use our feminine communication principles that will teach you on how to get him to adjust and actually show that care for you that you so desire. The next secret is to encourage his passions. And you could do this by supporting his hobbies or career pursuits, or by showing genuine interest and encouraging him to pursue what he loves. This communicates that you trust his direction in life. So encourage him. When you know that he has something that he's very passionate about, when there's a goal that he has in mind, when there's a specific career direction that he wants to go into, or some project that he wants to complete, encourage him in that and show him that you believe in him, that you trust that he's going to be able to do it, he's going to make it happen for himself, and simply support him in that. Be there, be available, and let him sometimes have the space also to pursue those passions, within reason. Of course, you don't want him to be constantly working on his projects or his hobbies and neglecting you, but within reason, give him that space to actually pursue those passions, pursue his career dreams and or hobbies or other things that he's working on, so that he feels that you trust him and that you want him to succeed in that. You're encouraging him to succeed in that, to be his full expressed self and be fully in his masculine. So that's a great gift you can give to a man as well. The next secret is to share vulnerable feelings. So you can do this by opening up about your emotions, even when they're difficult. This again is showing trust. You're saying, hey, I trust you with my heart. I trust you with my feelings. I'm going to expose my feelings to you. I'm going to expose my heart to you, even though it's scary, even though I'm afraid I may get hurt, or of course you could be rejected, etc. But that's the only chance you have of actually letting the love in and allowing him to feel your heart, which is your feminine core. The most feminine, vulnerable piece of you is your heart, is your emotions. And when you show that to a man, you're showing full trust that, hey, I'm here, I'm available, I'm open, and this is me, this is my heart, this is what's going on for me. Do with it what you will. And likely, when you do this with a man, especially a mature, healthy man, of course, there are bad men out there that may not treat your heart well. They may not do good things, but they will. Those men, they will be revealed very quickly. Often, when you are fully vulnerable, see how he responds when you share your feelings, such as saying, "I feel sad," or "I feel scared, and I don't know what to do," or "I feel happy," "I feel joy," "I feel grateful," "I feel excited." Simply sharing those feelings as well is powerful. But look and see how he responds when you're actually vulnerable, and that'll give you a good view into if he's a good man or if he's a broken man, because there is about 5 to 10% of men who are broken, they're narcissists, they're sociopaths, and you will only find that out often by being vulnerable and seeing how they respond to it. If they try to gaslight you, manipulate you, guilt trip you, or if they actually show care and say, tell me more. As long as you're doing it respectfully, you're not telling him like, you make me feel sad and you need to change this and you're bad. You're simply saying, I feel sad. You're making it about yourself. See how he responds to that. That'll give you the best view into what kind of man you're dealing with. And of course, it will show him that you trust him and that you're willing to open in that way. And it's a great way to encourage him to now show his adoration and devotion to you and inspire that within him. The next secret is to give him space. Trust that he will come to you when he needs to. Avoid excessive checking in or questioning, which can imply doubt. One second here. All right, so when you give a man space, I've mentioned this a bit before, but it's showing that you trust him. He's not going to be going and cheating on you or talking to other women or neglecting you. You're like, look, I trust you. Now, of course, when you're trusting a man, you're watching how he responds to it. What does he actually do when you give him that space? What does he actually do when you say, have a good time, enjoy, when you're authentic about it, like enjoy, have a good time with your buddies or whatever he's doing, and see how he acts, see what he does. And trust that he will care for your heart, that he is going to be a good man. Because oftentimes what happens when someone, and this happens with men and women, if you're very jealous about your partner and you're clinging on to them and you're trying to control them and tell them what to do, oftentimes you wake up the rebel inside of them that actually causes them to do things to potentially hurt you. And so when you avoid that, when you avoid trying to control somebody and trying to tell him what to do and trying to keep him in a box so that he never interacts with any other women and he's never out in a situation where he could, he could be tempted in some way or do something that may be unhealthy, then when you actually show that trust to a man, oftentimes what you'll do is you'll inspire within him, wow, she really trusts me. She really is letting me do this, and I don't want to disappoint her. Now, I'm not saying this is all men. There are bad men out there. There's 5 to 10% of men that are sociopaths, that are narcissists, and even if you fully trust them, they're not going to behave well. And you will find out about that, if not sooner, then probably soon enough. You will find out that you're dealing with a bad man. In that case, you need to set a boundary with yourself and you need to be willing to get out of that situation. You need to detach. But giving trust towards a man is one big aspect of allowing to see what kind of man this is that you're dealing with. And it'll often also inspire within him to not be that man. Even if he was maybe bad in the past or maybe he has hurt you in the past, you can inspire him to say, babe, I trust you. Babe, like, have fun. It's fine. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to enjoy. And of course, you still want to be true to yourself too. If he's neglecting you, you want to speak up and share your feelings around that. But if you can give that test, give the trust test and see what he does, that can often be very healing for your relationship potentially, especially if there was lack of trust in the past, to show that, hey, I'm willing to put myself out there and actually trust this time. I'm actually going to let you, do whatever you want or enjoy or go on the trip or spend the time doing what you need to do. And trust that it's going to work out, that he's going to be available for you. And if he isn't, then it's like, okay, it's not the right match. He's not showing care from my heart. And I need to, maybe you can give him a second chance. If you want, you can speak up about it, see how he responds to that. But then ultimately you may have to just walk away and be willing to detach from an unhealthy situation if he isn't showing care for your heart over time. The next secret is to show confidence in his abilities by saying something like, I feel safe knowing you can handle this. This reassures him that you believe in his capability to manage situations. So it's another form of trusting, like we just mentioned, is to show confidence in his abilities. To say, I know, babe, you got this. I know you can handle this. Or I trust you to pick the right place. If he asks you where you want to eat or he asks you about some plan, it's like, I trust you, you'll pick something amazing. I know it. You got this, babe. I know you got this. I trust you. You can even say those words. I trust you. You got this. I know you can handle it. I believe in you, baby. I believe. Let him know that you believe in him. You trust him. You know that he'll make a good decision. You know that he will plan something amazing for you both. Because again, when you speak this language to a man, you're waking up within him often this hero instinct, this ability to say, wow, I've never had like a woman really trust me like this, fully trust me. And it's like a gift you're giving him. Again, a masculine man, the more masculine he is, the more this will be true. But every man has a masculine core. The more masculine he is, the more he is going to need to feel trusted and respected in a relationship for him to be happy, for him to feel fulfilled, that his woman trusts and respects him. The less he feels trusted and respected, the less committed he's going to feel to that relationship, the less devoted he's going to feel, the less attraction he's going to feel, and he's definitely not going to miss you, which is the topic of this video. So if you reverse that and start by leading with trust, leading with respect, showing him and using these phrases that I'm giving you and these secrets that I'm giving you, oftentimes you can find the dynamic will shift and he'll start to come closer to you because you've led first with trust and respect. And then that's going to encourage him to want to give you love, adoration, and devotion. So that's a big key that a lot of people don't realize. A lot of women don't understand this distinction. So the next secret is to speak positively about him to others. When you talk about him with friends and family, express confidence in his actions and decisions, letting him know that you trust him even when he's not around. So this is another sign that you show others even that you trust him, that you admire him, that you respect him, talking well to him about him to others, maybe even in some ways showing other people the reasons why you trust him, explaining to them the reasons why your man is capable, because it helps you remind yourself to actually all the different ways you can trust him, all the ways that he is capable. And you can even make a list. If this is hard for you, you can make a list about your guy and write down all the things you think that he is capable of, all the things that you trust and admire and respect about him. When you become clear about that for yourself, it's going to become easier to actually verbalize that to him in different moments and saying like, I just love your ability to handle these kind of situations, or you're so knowledgeable with XYZ area, and thank you so much, babe, for helping me with this. And I trust you. You got this. I know you can handle this because of all the things you've done and the things you've accomplished in this area. So whatever he's accomplished, skill sets that he has, things that he's done for you, things that he's succeeded in with you, problems that he's solved for you, like remind yourself of those things, because that'll help you to remember, oh yes, I can trust him. At least in this area, I can trust him, and I want to trust him, and I want to show him that I trust him more and more and more, and he'll want to do more of that for you. And also he'll feel really great because he's like, wow, my woman really trusts me. This feels awesome. Like, I want to be this man even more. I want to show her other ways that she can trust me. I want to step up my game and be more competent. And of course, he will still likely make mistakes. He will still likely screw up sometimes. But as long as he's trying, and as long as he's making corrections for that and showing care for your heart, when he does those mistakes, you want to look for an upward trajectory. And that's why we have the Magnetic Feminine 90-Day Challenge that we teach in our programs and our courses, how to actually use feminine communication and use magnetic feminine polarity to shift your relationship with a man in a period of time, because you want to give him time to adjust for you being fully in your feminine and him being inspired into his masculine, so that he gets to adjust, and you'll see this upward trajectory where he may make some mistakes, he may not say the right thing or do the right thing at all times, but you'll see that he quickly recovers, likely when you share your feelings vulnerably in the way we'll teach you and the scripts that we'll give you, that he will start to correct and he will start to become better and become more of the hero for you. So that's what we want to look for, the upward trajectory. All right, so the next secret is to ask for his help or guidance. So ask him something like, would it be possible to get your advice on something? So we mentioned this earlier. We talked about asking for his opinion. This is about asking for his help and guidance. So I should have saved that more for later. So you can ask him his opinion on things. You can ask what you think about this, or what would you do in this situation? And then you could also ask him directly for help and guidance. Could I get your advice on something, or could I get your help with something? Could I ask for a favor? These are great because also he gets to invest into you. He gets to give, which again, masculine energy is about giving and providing, and feminine energy is about receiving, being open, sharing. And so when you ask for his help, you're able to inspire him into his masculine to actually give to you and provide in his masculine, which increases the polarity. And then also he gets to invest into you, which makes him feel that you are a worthy investment. You're someone he's already put so much time and energy into, that you must be very valuable. Why else would he give you so many things? Why else would he do so many things for you if you weren't a high value woman, if you weren't a queen, if you weren't the prize? So you inspire him within himself to see you as more valuable. The more that he does for you, the more things that he helps you with, he feels great. He feels like the hero, and he feels like, wow, this is my queen. I get to take care of her. It feels good to take care of someone and be valued for that and be appreciated for that and trusted to do that. And I want to do more of it. The next secret is to let go of control. So in moments of stress or uncertainty, resist the urge to take over. Instead, lean into your feminine energy, allowing him to step up and provide, which naturally shows you your trust in him. It got cut off here. So even when you're in moments of stress, even when you're freaking out and you're uncertain and you're in fear and anxiety, resist the urge to try to control him. Resist the urge to try to control the situation. And this is really challenging often for anxious attachment styles, because they're afraid of being rejected, of being hurt, of the man pulling away, or if I stop putting in all the effort, if I stop managing everything, he's not going to do anything. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to move forward. So in those situations when the anxiety is coming up, what's very powerful to do is lean back and trust. Trust in the process. Commit to the process, detach from the outcome. Whatever it takes for you. Trust in God. Ask God for guidance. Pray. Have faith. Faith over fear, right? Get into the faith energy where you're trusting the process, you're surrendering and saying whatever's going to happen happens. If I let go and everything crumbles, then let it crumble. Like, let it crumble down, because that's not a solid foundation anyways, and likely it's not going to. What you're afraid of often is irrational, and that you're afraid if I stop helping him to manage the kids, the kids are going to get injured, or if I stop making the meals every night or doing this every time, that nothing's going to happen, nobody's going to eat, and the house is going to crumble, or he's going to hurt himself in some way, or he's going to get into a bad situation, etc. And that's what like a mother does, right? A mother is taking care of her children, and she's making sure they're fed and they're nurtured and that everything's going well. But that's that's mommy energy. That's not wifey energy. So I'm going to do another video on that, and sometime in the near future, the difference between mommy energy and wifey energy, because there is a difference. A mom is different than a wife. A mom behaves in a very specific way, and a wife behaves in a very specific way towards the other person. So you want to avoid these behaviors where you are managing him and you're trying to take control and lead him, rather than letting go, being the wifey, letting him lead, letting him take charge, and giving him that space to take charge, because he can't do it if you're doing it. If you're doing all these things and you're not trusting him to do it himself, that he can't take care of certain basic things around the house or with your family or with the kids, if you can't trust him to do these basic things, then he's never going to be able to learn how to do those things. He's never going to be inspired to do those things because you're always doing it for him. So you have to let go, and that's going to be the scary piece when you're in free fall and you're actually letting go of these things you've been clinging on to. It will feel scary. It'll feel uncertain, and it may not go perfectly. But what you're doing then is you're allowing the foundation to settle. I love this old saying. It's an old Chinese saying, which is, "He who stands on tiptoe is not steady." So if you're constantly standing on tiptoe, walking on eggshells around a man and trying to manage his perceptions of you or manage the relationship, it's not a steady relationship. You're not steady, he's not steady, the relationship isn't steady, and likely it's going to come crashing down at some point anyways, because you're going to get burnt out, you're going to get exhausted, you're going to get so frustrated that you're going to leave the relationship, or you're going to do something that's going to ruin things, or you're just not going to be capable, and everything will come falling down anyways. So why don't you just let go now? You can do it in a gradual process, and we'll help you with that, how to start speaking up and communicating properly so that he actually understands why you're trying to control things and why you're afraid, and so that he feels inspired to want to take over some of those things that you're feeling like you have to manage, or even that you have to constantly initiate and reach out to him and start something, or else there's not going to be any connection with him. There's not going to be a relationship. So there's ways to share your feelings so that he then understands where you're coming from. He understands the emotions because you're vulnerable and open, which we talked about before. And then he naturally wants to step in and help. Ideally, most men will, when you do it in the right way, when you use what we teach you with magnetic feminine energy and magnetic feminine communication, a man will be inspired to want to take that lead and to want to take over some of those things and be a man that you can trust, and be a man that has things handled for you and can give and provide for you. So I'm going to answer some questions in just a moment. And for those who want to go deeper as well, I want to mention this because it's a very special gift for those who haven't got it yet, which is to take our free Magnetize Your Man quiz to get the relationship you desire as soon as possible, learn the principles of magnetic feminine energy, magnetic feminine communication, and we'll actually do a lot of this for you. We'll give you the exact scripts and tell you the exact things that you need to do to have a great relationship with him. So to get that, click the link in the description or comments below, or go to our website, magnetizeyourman.com. Highly recommend getting that free quiz. So now I'm going to answer a couple of questions while I have time here. If you have a specific question on a man or a situation you're dealing with, go ahead and post that in the comments now, and I'll get to as many of those as I can while we're here. So I'll start answering some of those that have already came in. So Bee's Knees said hello, welcome. Mercedes said, I missed this. Thanks for coming back. You're welcome. I'm glad I came back to do one of these live streams again. I enjoy them as well. Took a little bit of a break there. And Christy said, trust, respect, appreciation, working on it. Yeah, they all kind of go together, really. Because in order to trust a man, you kind of have to respect him. You have to respect him in some way. Respect some skill that he has or some ability that he has to lead, to do things for you, to give, to provide, to solve problems. So you have to respect him in different ways in order to fully trust him. Again, if we go back to the dance metaphor, if you're going to dance with a man, if you don't fully trust or respect him as a dance partner to be able to lead you in the dance, it's going to be a very challenging dance. He's going to be trying to lead you, and you're going to be like, I don't know if I can. It's a little scary. Okay, I'll turn here. Okay, I guess. And it's going to be a very stilted, weird dance because you're like holding back, right? You're protecting yourself, and he's trying to lead and give you a good experience. And he may be a completely competent dancer, but because you may have some trust issues from another relationship or another dance that you were in that didn't go well. Now you're holding back and like, I can't really trust you. But then he feels like he's not trusted, he's not respected. So he's like, I'm not even going to bother leading you anymore. I'm not going to even want to dance anymore because this isn't fun for me. And I'm just constantly having to fight you on things, and I'm constantly having this bickering or this push and pull rather than a dance, a fluid flowing dance where he's getting to lead and provide and give to you, and you're able to receive and enjoy and share with him. And you've both got this nice flow going on, just sort of like the yin and the yang, right? So if he doesn't feel trusted or respected, it's going to be very hard for him to fully devote himself and adore you. So oftentimes you have to kind of go first and just trust, and that's where it's like, okay, I trust you. Here, let's dance. I'm going to follow your lead. Let's go, and see how it goes. And sometimes he's still going to make mistakes, but you can share how that makes you feel after the dance or anytime using feminine communication, and then hopefully he'll adjust that, and then you guys can start learning these skills and getting into this flow. Because a great, healthy, polarized relationship, it is like a dance. And so what does a dance take? It takes learning, it takes knowledge, it takes practice. Just like if you're to learn how to tango, like an expert tango dancer, that's going to take some time. And it's going to take learning how to do the proper steps, practicing some of the elements that will teach you, such as asking permission, sharing your feelings, sharing problems, how to give it up to a man to take the lead, and how to also appreciate a man properly. So, and especially with the sharing the feelings piece, that's a very, very hard part, and how to pause and all the different aspects of using magnetic feminine communication. And once you've gotten the steps, once you master them, it just becomes like a flow. It's also similar to like learning a new language. If you're going to learn Mandarin, or if you're going to learn how to speak Italian, it's going to take some time to learn all the phrasing and the sentence structure and the words. But then once you've got it and you can speak fluently, now it's just second nature. It's just you're just in your feminine, you're natural. You're having fun now. You're enjoying it because you've learned the dance, you've learned the language. Now you can just enjoy and relax, and he's got it and he takes the lead, and you know how to communicate your feelings when there's issues, and he adjusts things, and you'll have very little arguments after that. And he'll be coming closer to you because he'll enjoy the dance so much as well. He'll want to make sure he keeps you in his life, because now he feels like a better man, a better version of himself, and a respected version of himself, and admired and valued. So the other question we have here is from Ann. Ann said, why do male boyfriends only answer my question when talking? Why does my boyfriend only answer my question when talking with him? It's like selective answering. I don't quite understand the question, because if you're talking with him, then he would be answering your questions. So I'm not sure. You might have to rephrase the question, Ann. I don't quite understand it. Maybe there's something you left out there, but you can repost and I'll get to it. Oh, Ann said, most time he is not answering my questions. Yeah, so if a man is avoiding answering your questions, it's probably a sign that he doesn't feel respected in some way, and he's avoiding answering your questions because he feels like your questions are leading questions, that you're trying to actually lead him to do something. So for example, if you were to ask a question like, why are you always leaving the dishes out? Or why can't we just spend more time together? That's a leading question, right? So whenever using the word why, be careful with that, because often it can become a leading question of asking him about something that he's doing or not doing that you would like him to do. So that could be one reason why he's resisting answering your questions. So in a different way to phrase that would be actually not even to ask the question, but to simply share how you're feeling, share your emotions, as we'll teach you using magnetic feminine communication. And then from there he will likely ask you, why are you feeling that way? And what do you want, or what do you need? So you inspire him into his masculine to take the lead in those situations. You can also ask questions directly, such as ask for what you want directly. So you could say, could I ask if we could talk on the phone? Or could I ask if we can meet in person? Or could I ask if you can help me with something? So you're asking him in that way for something directly that he's going to be much more likely to feel good about and answer because you're doing so respectfully and you're not judging him with your question, or you're secretly telling him what to do with your question, or trying to guide him in some way. That could be one reason. So just wanted to mention that, Anne, but I'm not sure. You can elaborate also if you want more clarity on that, and hope that was helpful. Jackie said, hello, thank you for providing this information. You're welcome, Jackie. And Mercedes said, what about sounding too needy about asking things? So as long as you are being authentic within yourself and you are being respectful with your questions, it's very unlikely that he's going to feel needy. Now, the other caveat with feminine energy, so feminine energy is about detaching from the outcome. Masculine energy is about making outcomes happen, like achieving a goal, leading, moving things forward, solving a problem, getting something. Feminine energy is about receiving, and it's about letting go and detaching from the outcome. So when you are asking for what you want, and this is a bit of a paradox, this is why I believe God designed the way men and women interact in this way, to actually have it be a spiritual process for you as well, about how to let go, how to actually let go and trust that your needs will be met when you communicate them properly to a man, and that'll help you to detach from the outcome, because only a high value woman believes that her needs will be met, and that her needs are valuable, and that her feelings are valuable, that her requests are valuable, so that you feel okay asking for them, because you're like, yeah, I know it's valuable. I know I'm worth having a man take care of me in this way. So I'm okay with asking if he could help me with something, if he could help me with my car, if he could help me with an issue at work that I'm having, if he could help me with my taxes. Of course, you want to try to match your requests with what you know he's capable of giving to you. If you know he has some skills with that, with taxes, or with a health situation that you're dealing with, or with your car, you can match that so that he's more likely to be able to solve it for you and feel good that he was able to give that to you, because he may not always have the answers, but you could still ask for it even then, because he might find somebody else. He's like, oh, I don't know, but I can find somebody who can help with this, or I can do some research and get back to you, or like, let's talk about it. And he'll just at least try to inquire with you. So I wouldn't worry about feeling too needy asking for things. Now, what's also powerful is if you find yourself just constantly asking him for things, like, can I ask for a phone call, or can I ask if we can meet in person, or can I share something with you? And he's not really coming to you, he's not volunteering any of those things. You could also just share your feelings. So you would still ask, and you say, could I share something I'm feeling? He'll say, sure, and say, I'm feeling sadness. Why are you feeling sadness? Because I've noticed that I've been asking you for a lot of things lately, and I'm telling myself a story that I'm maybe being too needy, or that maybe it's bothering you in some way, but I don't know what to think exactly with that, and it made me feel sad that that could be possible, and I don't know what to do. Or could I ask what you think about that? And then he will likely engage with you and say, oh, no, I don't feel you're being too needy, but we don't know how he's going to respond. So you want to be detached from the outcome. So again, when you make these requests, be detached from the outcome. And how you know if you're detached from the outcome is if you would be okay if he didn't respond, or if he didn't help. If he doesn't help you, like, you're more asking for yourself, and it's to him whatever he does. Now, you can still watch what he does and see if he actually gives you help. But if you make a request and he's not giving you help, and you've asked several times in different ways, and you've done so respectfully using what we teach and coach you, that if he doesn't give you help, if he's not providing, then that means that you're likely in a situation where he doesn't have care for your heart. And that's a different conversation. But so that's part of it, about letting go, being detached, right? You watch what you make your requests, and whatever happens, happens. It's about you. You're doing the request almost just for yourself, almost as if you're just practicing. You're practicing for yourself, speaking up and asking for what you need, asking for what you want, and being respectful and being high value. And then he's going to do whatever he does with it. But you can watch him and see what he does, and that's going to give you a big clue as to what kind of man he is. And you also want to give it some time, because sometimes he's not going to shift overnight into being your perfect masculine hero and doing everything for you, and adoring you and loving you and taking care of you and proposing to you potentially. But he'll likely will start to make these shifts over time as you're using what we teach you, because he's going to feel the polarity, and he's going to feel the respect and the trust on your side, and he's going to become a better man for you. He's going to be inspired into being his healthy masculine. So hope that helps, Mercedes. Just some thoughts with that. Carmen says, how did you How do you deal with your man who is always watching porn? He acts not interested in me anymore, and when I ask for time with him, he says no and reverts to saying I'm wrong for wanting that with him. Yeah, that's a tough situation, especially if he's saying that you're wrong for wanting to spend time with him. That's really rough, and that's a sign that a man isn't showing care for your heart, for sure. So, um, what you need to do, so you're asking how to deal with that. So, how to deal with that is you need to share your feelings with him vulnerably. So, you're asking for time with him, which is good, if as long as you're doing that respectfully, like saying something like, "May I ask if we could spend some time together this evening?" Or could I ask if we could spend some time this weekend? That's fine. That's a respectful request because he can say yes or no, and you want to be detached. If he says yes or no, you still made the request, and likely if he can't hang out, then he's going to make some time for you at a different time, hopefully. But what's even better than making a direct request is simply sharing your emotions. So how do you feel about that whole situation around? With the porn, with him saying that you're wrong for wanting that with him, to want to spend time with him. What emotions does that bring up for you? So it's likely bringing up feelings of sadness, anxiety, fear, maybe, anger, potentially, frustration. So those are going to be important things to share with him, to share it respectfully and vulnerably. For example, saying, "Could I share something with you?" Sure. He'll likely say, "Sure. I'm feeling, I notice I'm feeling pretty sad. I'm feeling sadness." And pause to let him feel your emotion. That's a huge piece, is pausing so that he can feel your emotion. And then from there, he likely will inquire more and say, "Why are you feeling sad?" or what's going on? And you would say, "Because I've noticed that, the last couple times I asked if we could spend time together, you said no, and that I was wrong for wanting to spend time with you. And I'm telling myself a story that you simply don't want to have me in your life anymore." So whatever the story is for you, because when you say I'm sharing, just telling myself a story, you could almost say whatever is true for you, the judgments, but now you're saying it in a container that's respectful. And I don't know what to do. So you can give it up to him. I don't know what to do. Or I don't, I'm curious what you think about that. And give it up to him. And then he will likely then proceed with wanting to help, wanting to make things better, wanting to inquire more. And hopefully he will, because now you've approached him vulnerably, authentically, with an open heart, not telling him what to do, not making it about him, but you're making it about yourself and what your experience is and what's going on for you, and even asking for help in a way. Could I have some help? Or I don't know what to do. You're like asking for help in that way. Or could I ask what you think about that? It's like asking a different way of asking for help. And then he's going to do whatever he does, and hopefully he'll start to show care for your heart. But that's one little aspect that can help you. One conversation, basically an example of conversation that could happen between the two of you. One of them that could start to shift things and could start to open him up to want to show more care for your heart and want to move things forward. But you want to be detached from that. And I would highly recommend taking our Magnetic Feminine 90-day challenge, because it sounds like you would really benefit from having the 90-day container where you're getting coaching and support to actually shift this with him and turn the relationship around, where he doesn't want to look at porn anymore because now he's getting his needs met through you, emotional needs primarily, but emotional, physical needs. He's being more attracted to you. He feels your vulnerability. It's turning him on. And then he wants to just engage with you more. Because remember, femininity is one of the most attractive things to a masculine man, and every man has a masculine core. Just depends on how masculine he is. And your feminine energy comes out primarily through your heart and through your vulnerability. And so that's where you can awaken his desire within him to want to engage you, pursue you, have sex with you, love you, adore you, etc. So that's a big starting point for it. Hope that was helpful, Carmen. A couple thoughts on that. Bee's Knees said, "Awesome, looking forward to it, enjoying the female energy and the dance described." Yeah, you're welcome. And yeah, glad you're enjoying it. And Iwa said, "Hello, maybe it's a mistake to give your friend an appreciation bomb letter. He pulled away even more. What should I do?" Your friend? Yeah, I don't know. It's odd if they pulled away. I mean, the appreciation bomb text is primarily for a man that you've had a history with, that you want to respark a relationship with. And we also have in our courses, we have a 7-word relationship revival text that you can send to a man that can restart a relationship and have him crave and pursue you. But if a man is pulled away, or if anyone is pulled away when you shared appreciation with them, or especially if you use the appreciation bomb text or letter, if you sent it as an email, that's probably a sign that they really don't have any care for you. They don't have any care for you, and there's not really much there to begin with. And they may be pulling away. Now, the other reason they could be pulling away is because they're afraid of their feelings, or they're afraid of, if they engage you too much, they're going to get hurt again if you had a bad history with them, and there was a maybe some bad stuff that happened between you. But yeah, I'm not sure. We would have to maybe do some coaching around that together to see what the dynamic might have been before that, and why they may be pulling away, and also what we should do next. Because just because they may have pulled away because you sent them some appreciation doesn't mean that the relationship is completely done. I would actually recommend then sending the 7-word relationship revival text, or we can strategize asking for a phone call potentially and talking to them on the phone. But if it's just a friend, I don't know. It would depend on the history. So not sure, Awa, but you can feel free to post a follow-up as well if you want, and hope that was helpful at least. Karen said, I've seen some kind of trend these days of people approving women proposing to men. Could you explain how this is plainly destroying the polarity? I don't think I need to explain that, Karen. It sounds like you know that that's destroying the polarity. I think everybody with some common sense and a decent head on their shoulders knows that a woman proposing to a man is, of course, going to destroy the polarity and the devotion, because it's setting the relationship in a foundation where she's taking the masculine role. And if that's what you want, some women might actually like those relationships where they can basically be the puppet master and have a man on a string and just lead him, and like a little boy, and take care of him and be the mother for him. And he's in his feminine, and he gets to just receive and follow her leadership and do what she says, and just be this little boy that's taken care of in a lot of ways, and or not, just basically doing nothing. So some women actually want relationships like that, where the guy is very feminine and is not really giving to her, providing for her, but just kind of being there, maybe just having sex with her, etc. But that's it. He's not really leading or moving the relationship forward, or wanting to be her hero or solve problems for her, etc. He's just kind of there. Just like that's what the feminine is, right? The feminine is being, the masculine is doing. So he, in that case, would be like this flower, and she would be like the honeybee coming to him and chasing him and proposing to him, etc. Because here's the other thing. How a relationship starts is generally how it will continue. This was a lesson I learned years ago. It was very powerful for me. So what this means is, if a relationship starts with you having to chase him, having to be the masculine, having to be the mother for him, etc., doing things for him, leading him, solving problems for him, giving him money, making all the money yourself, providing shelter, providing food, solving his problems, etc., then that's likely how the relationship's going to continue. Unless, of course, you use what we teach you, and you hopefully join one of our coaching memberships to turn the dynamic around and get out of your masculine and get fully into your feminine using the advanced strategies that we'll teach you. But if you start a relationship like that, where you're proposing to him, where you're chasing him and doing these things, likely that's how he's going to always expect. That's the way it's always going to be. That he doesn't have to do anything anymore. It's very clear to him that he doesn't have to take the masculine role. He doesn't have to initiate. He doesn't have to give and provide. He doesn't have to solve problems. He is giving. He is receiving. He's receiving and allowing and being and enjoying and being taken care of. And that's the way things are. And if you ever change that dynamic, it's going to be challenging, because he's going to feel like, wait, this isn't what we agreed to. We agreed to a relationship where I'm getting taken care of. And now you want me to provide for you? You want me to spend time with you? You want me to be exclusive with you? Well, I mean, if you're married, if he said yes to the proposal, then hopefully he's not, cheating on that woman. But yeah, so it's very, very bad for polarity for a woman. And I've seen this a little bit. I think it's more of a joke when I've seen it. I don't know if it's actually authentic or real. I've only seen like 1 or 2 of these where a woman was proposing to a man, and I'm like, is this real? Is this just a skit? Like, are we being punked? And so I don't know how real some of those are. I think some people do it for attention and they do it for social media and for views. But yeah, if it is real, that's pretty sad. And that's not going to go well for either of them, because the man is also not going to be happy in a situation like that. Because again, every man has a masculine core. And if he's not able to actually claim you, if he's not able to actually initiate and be the one that moves the relationship forward and provides and protects and gives to you, part of him's never going to be really satisfied with that relationship, because a part of him's going to feel like he's sold out on himself, that he is not being his full potential, that he's not being a king that he was designed to be. He's being a little boy. He's being a shell of a man, really. And that's not going to feel good to him ultimately. Ultimately, I imagine those relationships, the man is going to feel more and more depressed over time. More and more, his self-esteem is going to drop, and he's going to start withdrawing. So likely what will happen is either a man will become a shell of a man, and he's just going to be playing video games all the time, smoking pot, drinking, etc., hanging out with his buddies, while his woman is taking care of things and paying the bills and handling the taxes and the finances and fixing the car, etc., 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 and moving the relationship forward, trying to lead and control him. And so he's going to become a shell of a man. He's going to become just more of a little boy, or he's going to start closing up and pulling away, which I think is the most likely thing. Over time, he's going to start closing up more and more and pulling away more and more, and eventually will exit the relationship likely. And she'll be like, why did he leave? What happened? I did everything for him. I gave him the world. I massaged his feet every night, and I washed his socks, and I cooked him every meal, and I made him his favorite cake for his birthday, and I paid all the bills. Why did he cheat on me? Why did he leave me? Well, that's the reason. And it's sad because a lot of people don't understand these dynamics. A lot of women and a lot of men don't understand these dynamics. So it's like they're living in the matrix. They're like the fish that's in the ocean that doesn't know that an ocean even exists. It doesn't know what an ocean is, let alone that there's cities like Paris existing and forests and trees and mountains. Like, a fish doesn't know about those things because it's so busy just living the way it's always lived in the water. So it's a lot of people don't know that, oh, I didn't know that if I give to a man this much, and if I do all these things for him, and if I pay for the bills, and if I do all this, that he would actually not value me, and he would actually not be attracted to me, and he would not feel devotion for me. Like, I'm shocked by that. And it would be the same as like a man saying, oh, I thought that a woman would love that, I'm constantly just sharing my feelings with her and being open and vulnerable and letting her do things for me and appreciating her and letting her be my hero and solve problems for me. Like, why did she now leave the relationship? Why is she now just, hooking up with her boss, who's very masculine and controlling and telling her what to do, etc. So this happens also in relationships where the polarity is gone. Usually one partner will end up leaving the relationship. Hopefully they're not cheating, because cheating is never okay. But they'll likely be leaving the relationship at some point because they're not getting their needs met. They're not feeling the passion. They're not feeling the attraction on either side, usually, is what it ends up being. And then it's just like roommates. And sometimes there's situations that are unfortunate but very common where people are living together, they're married, and they don't even have sex, for years, sometimes for weeks, for days, for weeks, for months, for years, where they're not even having sex because there's no passion there. There's no chemistry because the polarity's gone. And sometimes it's because kids are involved and they've stepped into their different roles, and the man's become too passive and the woman's become too dominating or leading everything. And so there's it takes two to tango, right? It takes two to tango. The man has to be leading from his king. He has to be masculine and being a good leader and being competent and actually solving problems and handling things. And the woman also has to be vulnerable and authentic with how she's feeling, exposing her heart, allowing him to solve problems for her, encouraging him to solve problems, and being in the masculine and sharing her gifts from the feminine, her feminine intuition and her receptivity and the sensuality. So there's energies on both sides that can be improved and upgraded to actually create that passion again and create that polarity. But again, if they don't have the tools and if they don't know this information, they're still living in the matrix and their eyes have not been opened yet, then it can be very painful, and they can end up investing a lot into situations where they just get the opposite of what they actually wanted, which is very, very sad to see. So I hope that was helpful, Karen. Christy said, Question, rekindled relationship. Guy acts fully in love and no red flags, but he's not certain of how he really feels, yet no matter how affectionate and sweet and respectful he is. He's not sure of how he really feels. So what I would say is it's sometimes okay if a man doesn't know how he feels, because if he's a more masculine men are not as connected to their emotions, because the emotions and the expression of emotions, the emotional intelligence, like that's more of the feminine energy. So that's why more women are more emotionally intelligent than men are, and much more better with expressing and understanding emotions, because if they're connected to their own feminine in their bodies, they have that inherent wisdom. They have that gift that men don't have. Even the most feminine men often will never be as emotionally intelligent as the most feminine woman. So can't even come close. So basically, but men can do okay. They can do well depending on where they're at in their journey. But what I'm saying here is the more masculine a man is, the more he's going to express his feelings primarily through his actions and what he does. He'll still say often, I love you, or he'll express feelings and share how he feels about you and about different situations. But he's also going to primarily be leading with showing you care. So he's going to be doing things for you. He's going to be asking questions. He's going to be showing up. He's spending time with you. He's giving you that quality time, the acts of service, gifts potentially, leading the relationship forward. And so he's going to be doing more than saying, right? He's going to be showing you how he feels more through his actions rather than through his words. And so that's why you typically want to look for, even if a man says, oh, I don't know how I feel about the relationship, and, if I'm really ready, or if I'm, really in love, if he was to say that, it's like, oh, that's okay, but if he shows you through his actions that he does love you and he's doing all these things and he's solving problems and showing care for you, that's a better sign, even for himself, that he actually does have feelings for you. He actually does really care. So, but I know you would like to hear those words as well. So what I would do in this situation is actually share how that makes you feel. So what he said, which he doesn't know how he feels, it's okay for you to share how that makes you feel, because being in your feminine, you're like an open book and you're responding to everything that he is doing and sharing how that makes you feel, especially if there's strong emotions coming up. So if he says, I'm not really sure how I feel, you can say, okay, got it. Could I share a feeling that I have around that? And he'll probably say, sure. And you can say, I feel sadness. And he can say, oh, why are you feeling sad? Or what do you feel sad about? And then you would say, because when you said, you don't know how you feel yet, I told myself a story that, or it could also be that you feel confusion, because you may not actually feel sadness. You want to be true with what you're actually feeling. I'm just making up a feeling right now, but it could be confusion. It could be sadness. It could be anxiety. Could be fear, etc. But be true with what you're actually feeling in that moment. Don't just use the words that I give you exactly, especially with the emotions, because you want it to be authentic for yourself. So it could be, I feel confusion. And he'll say, well, why do you feel confusion? Because when you said that, I noticed you do a lot of these things for me, like you take care of this and you do this. And so you said he acts like he's fully in love. So I would tell him some of the facts of the ways that he does do things that show care for you in your view. And then you're also telling me that you're not sure how you feel, and I appreciate. So you could also weave in appreciation when you're talking with a man as well, like this. You can say, I appreciate that you're being so honest and open with me, or that you're sharing with me what is going on for you, and I'm just feeling some confusion and telling myself a story that I don't know what to think because of these different signs, and I don't know what to do. I could you help me with that? And so you give it back up to him that he can actually potentially help you with some clarity of what's actually going on for him. And maybe there's some other fears that he has or some other blocks as why he's not sure yet. And you guys can maybe have a discussion about that, and could be potentially very eye-opening for you. So that's what I'd recommend, is actually talk about with him, share with him how that makes you feel when he said that. And even if that was a conversation you had a couple of days ago, you can say, when we were talking about this yesterday, I noticed I had a feeling come up about that. Could I share that with you? And you say, sure. And say, I'm feeling some confusion. I'm feeling confusion around that. And he'd say, okay, what's the confusion about? And then you go into what I told you, because I've noticed you've been doing these things and this, and I appreciate us, getting back together, and that we're having these conversations, and that you were open with me, and I'm feeling some confusion that I don't really know what to really think about that. And I'm just not sure. And I was curious if you could help me with that. So you're not telling him what to do. You're not guiding him or leading him. You're just simply being honest and open, and you're making it about yourself that you want some more clarity because you don't know, which is why you're asking me, because you don't know why he's saying that. Probably you don't know why he's saying that, and you're confused about why he would say that, and then also doing some other things, or he's doing these things for you and saying that he's not feeling feelings. So it is confusing. So that's what I'd recommend, Christy. Hope that was helpful. And I would definitely also recommend hopefully getting some coaching support around that. And we definitely can help you with that, to have that conversation and other conversations, because you should really learn some of the advanced principles of magnetic feminine polarity and feminine communication, because that's going to really help you understand men a lot better and understand him, so that you can really know what's going on for him and how to approach it from your feminine, so that he's inspired to actually show care for you and be more clear on his feelings around you, and hopefully that are good feelings, that he loves you and he really wants to be there for you, etc. So that is all the time we have for tonight to go into questions. And if you had other questions, you can post those on our next chat that we'll have very soon. And also, I highly recommend, if you haven't yet, again, taking our free Magnetize Your Man quiz. If you really want to learn the advanced principles of magnetic feminine polarity, magnetic feminine communication, that we can teach you, and I can actually coach you as well individually to master this for yourself in your relationship. Use it with a man to have a loving, devoted, long-term, committed relationship with him, that he just wants to keep cherishing you and giving you all the desires of your heart. Again, you can get that by clicking on the link in the description or comments below, or clicking on our bio, depending on where you're watching this video, or going to our website, magnetizeyourman.com. Much love. Hope this was helpful, and look forward to talking to you again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.